Very good. Namaskar. Good afternoon, everybody. Let us start with a prayer. This prayer is called Pratasmarana Stotram. Pratasmarana means morning. Smarana means remembering. Stotra means remembering our true self. And that's 3 stanzas here, composed by Shankaracharya. It's on page 174 of this book, The Universal Prayers. Page 174. Very nice hymn. We used to chant this every morning in Chicago earlier. Pratasmarami hradi samspuradaatmatattvam Satchit sukham paramaham sagatim turiyam Yat swapna jagara sushuptamavaiti nityam Tad brahmanishkalamaham nacha bhuta sanghaha pratar bhajami manaso vachasamagamyam vacho vibhanti nikhila yadanugrahena yanneti neti vachanair nigama avochuku tam deva deva majamachyutamahuragryam prataram namami tamasava paramarkavarnam purnam purnam sanatana padam purushottamabhyam yasminnidam jagadasheshamasheshamurtau rajvam bhujangama iva pratibhasitam vai. The translation is on page 175. At dawn, I meditate within my heart on the self-effulgent Atman, the existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute, the goal of the greatest ascetics, the transcendent and the eternal, who is beyond the states of waking, dream, and sleep. I am really that indivisible Brahman and not a combination of material elements, that is the body and the mind. At dawn, I worship him who is beyond the reach of mind and speech, but because of whose presence all speech becomes manifest. Him the scriptures indicate by the words, not this, as beyond all attributes. Him the sages describe as the God of gods, the eternal, immutable, and supreme. At dawn, I salute the effulgent being who is beyond all darkness, who is called the Supreme, the Infinite, and the Eternal, in whom appears the world of manifold forms. I like the snake superimposed on the rope. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Very beautiful and profound hymn. It's good to chant this early in the morning, in the early morning prayers, and throughout the day, constantly keep the thought in mind that I am not the body, mind, sense organs. It is ignorance to think like that. I am the Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi, the Upanishad says. That is what truly I am. Forgetting our true nature, infinite, eternal, Satchidananda, supreme bliss, we are stuck in the cage of the body and the mind, suffering interminable limitations and problems. So it's very nice hymn. Now we continue with chapter 11. Last time we were doing the 33rd verse, very important verse in this chapter, where Bhagavan Sri Krishna tells Arjuna that the Lord is the doer of everything. Everything happens according to His will. And what is our role? We are only instruments in His hands. We have to try to be the best instrument that we can be, and you have to do that part, play the part of an instrument with gratitude, because it's an honor, it's a privilege to be chosen as the Lord's instrument in His hands to get His work done. But this idea, last Tuesday, Swami Atmagyananji spent almost a whole hour discussing this idea that we are only instruments. Sri Ramakrishna also used to sing that famous song, Shakalita Maricha, Ame Jantra Tume Jantri, he would say. I am the Jantra means Yantra, instrument. Tume Jantri, you are the operator. But that is not really appropriate for people, very ordinary people like us. It represents a high state of realization. To be able to be convinced that the Lord is the doer, I'm only the instrument, one should have reached a high state of spiritual awakening. Otherwise, what happens? Thinking that we are the body and the mind and saying I'm the instrument, God does everything, it may lead to undesirable consequences. A person who is not ready for spiritual life can do whatever he wants, good or bad. And then when asked, why did you do this? He says, I didn't do anything, I'm only instrument, God did everything. So that some convicts, when they are convicted of some crime, they say, God he told me to do this one. They will say like that. They are mentally not sound, but they use that. So we should not say that. When having the notion of being the body and the mind, we should still say I'm the doer, but give the I, the ego, a modified place that we discussed earlier. I am the doer, all right, but I'm only an instrument. I'm only a dasa, servant. As a servant, services master, I'm serving the Lord through my work. That I should still be there. We can't give it up so easily, so early. All we can say, I'm doing it, I'm the doer, but I'm offering everything to God as my humble offering. That Sri Krishna says in several places. The 3rd chapter, verse number 30, Sri Krishna says, offer all your work to me. Maya sarvani karmani sanyasya. That instruction comes again and again. 9th chapter also we studied. Chapter 9, verse 27. Main instruction Sri Krishna gives to Arjuna is, whatever you do, offer it to me, dedicate it to me. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yad juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat purusham adarpanam. Whatever you do, yat karoshi madarpanam purushva. Do it as an offering to me. Arpanam is offering. So still the I should be there. When we are ready to give up the I, when the ego almost complete disappear, then I can say I'm not doer, I'm only instrument. That stage has to come. Before that, we cannot say I'm not the doer. So kartritva means the notion that I'm the doer, agency for action we should take. Or the 3rd option is, I'm a dasa, first option, I'm a servant. 2nd option is I'm doing, but I'm offering everything to God as an offering I'm doing. 3rd option is also available. There in the 18th chapter, Sri Krishna is going to say, whatever you do it as worship, my worship. Sakarmana tamabhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaha. 18th chapter, verse 46, 2nd line. Sakarmana tamabhyarchya. Worship, archana means worshipping. By worshipping the Lord, by our own karma, doing all our karma is worship. Whatever karma we do, including so-called secular activities, daily chores, going to office and working, serving in the clinic or bank, or hospital or school, wherever we have to work, or government office or business, working at home, doing cooking, cleaning, serving children, taking care of children, whatever we do, all should be done as worship of God. Small, small things are to be done as if we are doing worship with great care and love and gratitude. I notice some people do the work haphazardly. They don't pay attention to the details. Somehow it is being gotten out of the way. That should not be the attitude. Every work we do, every word I speak, every step I take is worship of God. Should be done as worship, with devotion, with love, with gratitude, nicely. And mentally think of it as worship. I'm worshiping God. So on Saturdays, many people come here to do Karma Yoga in our ashrama. They all come because they love to come and serve the Lord. So all worship of God. When people vacuum the floor in the shrine and other areas, when people clean the shrine, do the wash the handkerchiefs used in the shrine every day, polish the dishes used in the shrine every day, and they clean the kitchen. They're all doing worship of God. They do with that attitude. That should be the proper attitude. Not grudgingly, why should I do this? Somehow let me get it out of the way. Should not be the very wrong attitude. With love, with devotion, with great care and joy. Joyfully we have to work all day. Everything is worship of God. These are all the alternative attitudes we can have towards work. As a servant, as offering, as worship. And as an instrument will come at a later stage. At the highest stage, I'm not the doer at all. There's a highest option. Jnanis think like that. They're doing all the work, but they don't have the feeling that they are the doers. Body mind work is happening at the body mind level, but they are the Atman. We are not there yet. We are a little bit quite far away from that position. To think I am the Atman, I am not the body mind. If it comes, it will. When it comes, it comes. Then we can say that attitude that I am not the doer is described by Sri Krishna in chapter 5, Gita, that we studied quite some time ago, verses 8 and 9. Chapter 5, verses 8 and 9. Jnani does all the work. At the same time, the Jnani says, I'm not the doer. We should not do that work. Jnani says, Naiva kinchit karomi. I'm not the doer of anything. I'm not doing anything. How can I say that whilst doing all the activities? Pashyan, Sranvan, Spishan, Jigran, Ashnan, Swachan, Sapan, Swachan, like this. All the activities are listed there. The Jnani does. Ajnanis also do. The Jnani says, I'm not the doer. If you ask Jnani, you are doing all these activities, I'm seeing you are drinking tea, and you say you're not drinking anything, the Vasishtha did that one. He had a lot of dairy products given by the gopis and says, I didn't eat anything, I didn't eat anything. We cannot do that one because we have sense of doership agency. We have to say, I'm the doer, but I'm a servant. I'm the doer, but I'm offering it to God. I'm a doer, but I'm doing it as worship. Those are options available to us. How can the Jnani say that he's not doing anything while doing everything? If you ask him, Jnani explains. Indriyani, this last line in verse 9, chapter 5. Indriyani indriyartheshu vartante iti dharaya. How does action happen? Actions happen. Indriyani, one or more sense organs. Indriyartheshu, one or more sense objects. They interact. Sense organ, sense object interaction. Action is happening. Mind is also a sense organ. Mind says to the hand, take the book, and takes the book. Book is sense object. I'm not the sense object. I'm not the hand. I'm not the mind. I'm the Atma. Action is happening, but I'm not the doer. Body, mind, sense organ, sense object. At that level, all actions happen. That is a very high state. A person should be having self-knowledge. I'm not the body, mind. I'm Brahman. Only that person can say like that. I'm not the doer. So for people like us, we should, as long as we have the ego and the notion of being the doer, we should say, yes, I'm the doer, all right, but I'm only a servant, caretaker, manager, doing all this work, Lord's work. I'm doing it as an offering to Him. I'm doing everything as his worship. That this are safe attitude for us to take. So this is what we have to understand, message to get from verse number 33. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, you be the instrument, I am the doer. Not only I am the doer, I have already done all these things. Everything is in past tense. In the Vishwarupa cosmic form, he showed all the soldiers, yodhas, fighters assembled on both sides, Pandava side, Kaurava side. All of them are entering into the various mouths of the cosmic form. And they're being chewed up there by the teeth. That description we saw, somewhat frightening description. So that is, everything has already happened in God's, from God's point of view. But what is our role? He says to Arjuna, be an instrument. Nimitta matram bhava. Savyasachim, 11:33. So that verse is very important verse. We have to think about it and define, understand our attitude towards work. The consequence of the corollary of this is, when I offer everything, all work to God, then the result of work is not up to me. I've offered this work to him. What is the result is up to him. That is what he already said in the second chapter. You only have ability, authority to work, but you have no control over the outcome. Outcome is left to the Lord. Doing my part of the work is my job, that I do and offer it to him. There my connection with the work ends. What is the outcome, result, success, failure, praise or blame? I'm not to be concerned about it. This instruction gave early in the Gita, in the second chapter, verses 47-48. There Bhagavan Sri Krishna had already said, Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Arjuna, you have some control, power over your karma. Karmani evate adhikara. Phaleshu mate adhikara. In phala means fruit of action. You have no control. Success, failure, or mixture is not in your hands, but you have to still do your best. That we have studied, discussed at length, why result is not in our hands. It will come again in the 18th chapter. So coming back to chapter 11, now we go to sloka number 34. Dronam cha bhishmam cha jayadratham cha karnam cha thanyana piyodhaviran maya hatam swam jahima vyathishta Yudhyasvajeta sirane sapatnan. Arjuna, Sri Krishna says, gives instructions to Arjuna. Drona, the teacher of martial arts, archery and all other arts, to both Kauravas and Pandavas, Drona. But he is fighting from the Kaurava side. Dronam cha Bhishma. Bhishma is the grandfather. He's also joined the Kaurava side. Why Bhishma is such a wise person? One of the Vasus joined Kaurava side. That's a question for discussion for a Mahabharata story. So we don't discuss the story, we take the message. People endlessly discuss why Dharmaraja said this Ashwatthama, Kunjara, how did he tell a lie? All these things in Ramayana, why did Rama send Sita to the forest? All those things are story part. That is not our main interest. In the Puranas and Itihasas, stories are told to convey a message. Story is a container. Message is the content. You grasp the content and leave alone the container. So other people will discuss endlessly why this happened, why that happened. That's not important for us. Bhishma, Drona, both fighting from the Kaurava side. Jagadratha. Jagadratha was a great warrior. So Karna was also a great warrior, but though he was a Pandava, due to some confusion at the time of birth, he somehow joined the Kaurava camp. Karnam. Tata Anyanapi Yodaveran. Anyan means others. So many others. These are only a few famous ones are listed here. Yodaveran, great warriors, all of them on both sides, Kaurava side, Pandava side. Maya Hatam. See, it's a past tense. They have already been killed by me. Sri Krishna says, Maya hatan, I've already taken care of them. Tvam, what is you have to do? Go through the motions, be the instrument. Tvam jahi, you just go through the motion of killing them. You are not the doer, I'm the doer, but you have to be the instrument in the hands. He needs an instrument. Krishna himself did not participate in the war, did not fight. It was only a Sarathi, charioteer for Arjuna. He didn't lift any weapon. So through Arjuna, he got his work done. Arjuna was chosen as the instrument. If Arjuna was not willing, Sri Krishna would have chosen any other instrument. He can find thousands of instruments. If I don't do my work, he will get the work done through some other better instrument. So let me be grateful. He just gave me the chance to be the instrument. So every work that comes to us, we should do it with gratitude, because God has chosen me to do it, get this work done. Great privilege, great gift, grace of God. Maya hata tvam jahi. You go through the motion of killing them. Jahi means kill. Ma vyatishta, don't worry. Yatha means worry, anxiety, worry, sadness. Ma vyatishta, don't worry, just go through the motions. Yudhyasva means you fight. Arjuna is a fighter still. The Lord has accomplished the result already. Yudhyasva rane sapatnan jetasi. Sapatnan means satru, enemies. Sapatna means enemy. Sapatnan, enemies, plural. Rane jetasi, you will conquer the enemies in war. Arjuna was having this doubt in the second chapter. He did not know which way to go. Arjuna was explaining his dilemma in the second chapter and first chapter, more in the first chapter. Arjuna was asking, if we engage in this war, you will have to fight with our own relatives, cousins, and relatives and teachers. If we win in the war, that means we'll have to kill all these people who are very close to us. And the kingdom that comes to us, if we win the war, comes with the blood staining, blood of the cousins tainted. That kingdom comes. How can we enjoy that war? Or if they kill us, then we will all be killed, which is also not good. So what to do? He was asking. The answer is here. Krishna said, you are going to win in the war. Rane jetasi. He says there, Rane sapatnan jetasi. Rane means in the war. Sapatnan is the enemies. Jetasi, you will win. No doubt about it. It is determined, predetermined by the Lord. Success. So that relieves Arjuna of his worry. And he has to go through the motion of killing the enemies as an instrument in the hands of the Lord. That's for him instruction. Now, continuation of the narration. Sanjay is narrating all this to Dhritarashtra, verse number 35. Sanjaya uvacha etat shrutva vachanam keshavasya कृताञ्जलिं वेपमानः किरीटी नमस्कृत्वा भूय एवाह कृष्णं सगद्गदं भीतः प्रणम्य. Listening to Krishna's words, Keshavasya vachanam shrutva. Listening to Krishna's words, Keshava means Krishna. Trembling with folded hands, vepamana. Vepamana means kampamana. His whole hands and body shaking because terrifying experience of watching the Vishwarupa cosmic form. And see, Arjuna was also terrified. He's a great hero, strong man, but to speak of ordinary people, we can't even withstand that vision. Keshvasya vachanam shrutva, etat vachanam shrutva. Kiriti means here Arjuna. He's wearing a kirita, means a crown. Kiriti also means Krishna and other deities who all wear crowns. Kiriti, Vepamanaha, trembling. Kritanjali. Kritanjali means, Anjali means this gesture. When you meet somebody, we say Namaskar. Namaskar, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Ram Ji Ki. Like this we say. That's our culture. We should say that one. Hi, we should not say that is American culture. It's okay. They don't mean that. Their culture. So, Namakiriti Vepa. Kritanjali means holding his hand like this, showing great love and reverence to Krishna. Arjuna is doing Kritanjali Mudra. Kritanjali Vepamanaha Kiriti Arjuna. Bhuya Eva Aha. Namaskritva. Bowing down to Sri Krishna. Krishnam to addressing the Lord Krishna. Sagadgadam Bhita Bhita Pranamya Bhuya Eva Aha. Aha is the finite verb in the second line. Aha means he said. Past tense. Who said? Arjuna said. Arjuna was trembling with fear. He was holding his hands in respect, showing respect to Arjuna. That Arjuna, Sagadgadam. Sagadgadam means voice choking. Extreme excitement happens. Then the voice chokes and hair stands on end. These are all signs of excitement, thrill. Good or bad news can make this happen. Sagadgadam Aha. Arjuna said to Krishna, Krishnam Aha. Bhita Bhitaha, he was terrified, afraid. Pranamya, he bowed down to Pranama, is bowing down to Krishna. So the translation is, listening to Krishna's words, trembling with folded hands, Arjuna saluted Krishna, falling prostrate, Pranamya, and quite nervous, Bhita Bhita. We are very much afraid. He spoke to him means to Krishna, flatteringly as follows. Flatteringly means full of praise and admiration. Not flattering in the ordinary sense. Some people flatter others to gain something. That's not flattering here. Flattering is not a good word here. Praising Krishna's infinite glory. This Sanjaya says to Dhritarashtra. Then Arjuna continues his narration. So far, Shri Krishna answered Arjuna's questions and told him that you have to be the instrument. I've already done. Go through the motion. After that, Arjuna replies to Krishna. Verse number 36. Arjuna Uvacha Sthane Hrishikesha Tava Prakirtya Jagat Pragrushyatyanurajyate Cha Pragrushyati Anurajyate Cha Rakshamsi Bhitani Disho Dravanti Sarve Namasyanti Cha Siddha Sangha. Sthane means indeed it is proper. It is right. It's proper that this should happen. All the people should go down to you, etc. Rishikesha, O Lord Krishna, Sthane, it is proper. What is proper? Tava Prakirtya. Kirti means glory. Prakirti means chanting the glory of the Lord, praising the Lord. Tava means your. By chanting your glories, then Mahatmya Kirtanena, Shankara says. Mahatmya means the glory, greatness of the Lord. By chanting Lord's greatness, which Arjuna did in the slokas, in the stotra he chanted earlier in this chapter. Jagat means this whole world. Prahrishyati means becomes delighted. Harsha means delight, joy. Prahrishyati. By praising the Lord and His glories, we become delight, brings great delight to us. Sri Ramakrishna again and again said in the gospel, chant the name of God and chant His glories. Whenever we sing some bhajan, devotional song, or chant some hymn, stotra, we are chanting God's glories. That purifies the mind. That is why we should chant God's name and we should chant His glories. Jagat Prarishyati, by chanting your glories, whole world becomes delighted. Prarishyati. Anurajyate cha, becomes gratified. Raksham Sibhitani Disho Dravanti. By looking at this cosmic form, Rakshamsi means all the demons were there. Rakshamsi, Bhitani, they are frightened. Bhaya means fear. Frightened, all the demons frightened by looking at the cosmic form, frightening cosmic form. Disho Dravanti, they run away in different directions. Dik means direction. Dravanti, they run away in different directions. They flee. Disho Dravanti. And all these good people do Siddha Sangaha. Siddha means perfected people. There are several categories of people. Sadhyaha means those who are trying for perfection, like us. And we have to be perfect. Why? Because our true nature is perfect. Though we have forgotten, we are not experiencing our true nature right now, but our true nature is perfect. Sachidananda. We are that. That's what Upanishad says. Sages have said from experience. We are perfect, really. The imperfection we are suffering from, limitation, is because of ignorance of our true nature of perfection. We are that Brahman even now. Aham Brahmasmi. This moment, we have always been. We have been nothing else in the past. It's not that we are not Brahman, now we have to become Brahman. No, it's the established truth. We have always been divine. Each soul is potentially divine. It's the divinity hidden potentially in us. It is there. It is never lost. But it has to be brought to surface. You have to experience it. That is what all spiritual practices are supposed to do. So this should be on Siddha. Siddha means perfected people who already have reached the goal of perfection. Siddha Sangha. Sangha means group, association, a large gathering of all the Siddhas who are there. Sarve, Siddhas and Siddha Sangha. Namasyanti, they bow down to you. The demons run away looking at the cosmic form out of fear. The Siddhas stay there and they bow down to the Lord in the cosmic form. Like that. Indeed, it is proper, Krishna, that the whole world is extolling you. In extolling you, should rejoice and be gratified. Prarshati anurajyate. The demons flee frightened away into space, and all groups of perfected souls, Siddha Sangha, do the reverence, bow down to you, showing reverence and respect. Now we go to verse number 37. So Arjuna is saying all this to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Kasmachate nanameran mahatman gariyase brahmanopyadhikartre ananta devesha jagannivasa tamaksharam sanasat param yat. Why would they not bow down to you? The Siddha Sanghas, all the Siddhas are going down to you. Why would they not? Because naturally they have to bow down to you. Even ordinary people like us, when we see a great man, a Mahatma, Swami, we bow down out of respect. It comes naturally. So when they see when the Siddhas saw the Lord himself, naturally they bow down. Why would they not? It's proper that they should bow down. Why would they not bow down? Lameran. Gariyase Brahmanopyadhikartra. Gariyase means you are greater than all. Gariya means greater than all. Greatest of all. Brahmana api Adikartre. You are the creator, even the Brahma. Adikarta, Brahman is called Adikarta. Adikarta means the first creator of the whole universe. Creator of creation. You are the creator of Brahma also. You created Brahma and he created the world. Brahmano Pyadikartre. Then second line. Ananta Devesha Jagannivasa. Ananta means infinite Lord. Ananta means endless. Anta means end. Ananta means endless. Endless means infinite. God is infinite in every way. Devesha, the Lord of all the gods. Jagannivasa, you are the abode. You are the abode of the whole world. Tamaksharam sanasat param yat. Aksharam means you are the imperishable. Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Chapter 8, verse 3. Sri Krishna defines Brahma. In the 8th chapter begins with Arjuna's 7 questions. First question, Arjuna's question was in chapter 8, Kim Tad Brahma? What is Brahman? The answer in the third sloka of chapter 8, given by Krishna, is Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Brahman is Akshara, imperishable. Everything else in this universe itself is perishable, and everything in it. Sooner or later, they all perish and go out of existence. But the only imperishable entity is Lord Himself. Brahman, God Himself, is imperishable. Tamaksharam, you are imperishable. Sadasat Param, you are beyond existence and non-existence. So all these Siddha Sanghas, everybody are bowing down to you, the Lord. Description. Verse 38, description of the Lord. Tamadideva Purusha Puranaha Tvamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam Vettasi Vedyam Cha Param Cha Dhama Tvaya Tatam Vishwamanantarupam. Tam Adidevaha. You are the primal Lord. Adi means beginning. Before everything, God was there. After everything, God will be there. There is no beginning or end for God. That we saw before. Anadi Madhyanta. Adi means beginning. Madhya means middle. Anta means Anadi means no beginning, no middle, no end for God. All other things have a beginning and an end and a middle. Everything else, even these galaxies and the stars and all beings, of course, they begin at some point their existence, and there is some duration, madhya, middle, and at the end they will go out of existence. Anta will come. But not for the Lord. He is Anadi Madhyanta. He is beginningless, no middle, and no end. Tumadi Deva, you are the primal Lord. Adi means beginning. Primal Lord. Purusha, Adi Deva, Purusha, Puranaha, the ancient being. Purana means ancient being. Purusha means being. Asya Vishwasya Tvam Param Nidhanam. Nidhanam means abode. Param Nidhanam means supreme abode. We have different abodes. The body itself is an abode for the jiva. We live in the body. And for the body abode is our house, apartment, or bungalow, or whatever, mansion, wherever we stay. That is our abode. And that abode resides on the earth. Earth resides in the solar system. Everything resides in God. He is the supreme abode of everything, containing everything. Tvam Asya Vishwasya, of this world, Vishwa means cosmos. Of this whole world, Tvam Param Nidhanam, you are the supreme abode. Param Dhama, Dhama also means abode. In the 7th chapter, Sri Krishna had already said this one, that I am the supreme abode of everything. Also in the 10th chapter. There he had said, chapter 7, verse number 6, Aham sarvasya jagataha prabhavaha pralayastatha. Sarvasya jagataha, for all the whole universe. Jagat means universe, world. Sarvasya jagataha, of the whole world. Aham prabhavaha, I am the origin. Everything originates from me. Everything comes from me. I am the cause of the whole universe. Pralayastatha, I am the end, destination of the whole universe. So that those ideas are familiar, it has come before. Tamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam, of this world, Asya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam, you are the supreme abode. Arjuna is saying this to Sri Krishna. Vettasi Vedyam Cha Param Cha Dhama Tvaya Tatam Vishwamanantarupa. Vetta. Vetta means one who knows. Vedya means something that is to be known, object of knowledge. Vetta Asi means you are the knower of everything. We are knowers of only small part of knowledge we have in our little minds. The Lord knows everything. He is Jnani, Purna Jnani, omniscient. Tvam Vetta Asi, you are the Lord, knower of everything. Vedyam, you are the object of knowledge. What is the object of knowledge? What we have to know? We have to know God. He is the object of our knowledge. We have to seek knowledge of God. Other objects that people study in various disciplines in universities and colleges. They are also to be known, but they are limited. They are not the supreme object of knowledge. Supreme object of our knowledge is God. Other things that we know, they are only for temporary use. And whatever subject people study, physics, chemistry, biology, social science, history, geography, astronomy, they are all to be known, but they're not supreme knowledge. They change and we forget them also. We can't retain them. When we become old, mind loses the power to retain the knowledge they have gained, goes away. But supreme object of knowledge is God. Tvam vetasi. Tvam vedyam. Vedyam is object of knowledge. Param cha dhama. Dhama means abode. You are the supreme abode. It comes again and again. God's supreme abode. That is, whole universe abides in the Lord. Param cha dhama. You are the supreme abode. Some people keep the name Parandhaman. In Tamil Nadu, Parandhama means supreme abode, God's name. That is, some people keep that name, Paramdhama. Tvaya tatam vishwam. Vishwam means cosmos. Tatam means pervaded by you. Tvaya means by you. Whole universe is pervaded by you. This kind of stotra hymn comes and again, praising the glory of the Lord. Arjuna is doing that one. Ananta Rupa, you have infinite forms. Ananta means infinite, endless. All forms are God's forms. Not only pleasant forms, even unpleasant forms, tiger and snake and all nature, trees, ferocious animals, everything is God's form. He himself has taken the form of the universe, good and bad, everything. So that is what Arjuna says. Anantarupa, you have infinite form. So whenever we see anything or anybody, even inanimate object or animal, when we see, we should think of it as God's form. Anantarupa means that infinite forms he has. Every form is God's form. Whatever we see is God's form. That area you have to keep in mind. That came in 6th chapters. Vedyasi vedyam cha param cha dhama tvaya tatam vishwamananta rupa. By you is pervaded this whole universe. Vishwam tvaya tatam. Ananta rupa of infinite forms. Next verse number 39. Vayurjamo varunashashankaha prajapatistam prapitamahascha namo namastestu sahasrakritvaha punascha bhuyopi namo namaste. Punah means again and again. Bhuya means again and again. Again and again, I offer my salutations to you, Arjuna is saying to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. The wind, Vayuhu, the god of death, Yamaha, Agni, fire, Varunaha, the god of water, Shashankaha, moon, Prajapati, the lord of creatures, who creates the beings, Prapita Mahascha, father of the Brahma, Pitamaha. Prapitamaha. Pitamaha means grandfather. Prapitamaha means his father, great grandfather. Prapitamahascha. Namo namaste astu. Again and again, I bow down to you. Sahasrakritvaha, 1,000 times. No matter how many times he bow down to God, we can still bow down to God. His glories are infinite. You cannot exhaust going down to God. Every time you have to go down to God. Sahasrakritva, 1,000 times Namo Namaste to my salutations to you. Punascha bhuyapi, again and again. Namo Namaste, my salutation, Namaskar, many times, innumerable times. So Arjuna's narration of Sri Krishna's glory. Verse number 40. Namah purastadata prishthatasti namostute sarvata eva sarva ananta viryamita vikramasvam Sarvam samapnoshi tatosi sarvaha. Namaha Purastat. Purastat means, Pura means in front. From front, I bow down to you. God has no front or back, east or later, right or left. That's all from our point of view, limited beings. God is 360 degrees. There is no left, right, or up or down for God. From everywhere, He is there. In every direction, He is there. Purastat, Prishtataste. Prishta means back. From the back also, Namaste. I bow down to you. Sarvata eva sarva. Namaste astu. Namo astu. From all sides, sarvata eva. From all sides, I bow down to you. Anantavirya amitavikramasvam. Anantavirya means of infinite prowess. Virya means power or prowess. Of infinite power, samarthyam. Amitavikramasvam. Vikrama means ability. God has no limitation for his ability. All other beings have limited ability. Even the sun has limited ability because he can only illumine this solar system and a little bit beyond. Very faint light goes outside the solar system. Some other stars are bigger than the sun. Sun itself is very big. And his ability to shine is also limited, both in duration and in magnitude. There are bigger stars producing more light and heat than sun. And then in course of time, his ability to shine also will diminish and there will be no longer the sun. It will become a brown star and diminish. So everything is finite. But God alone is Ananta, infinite. In every way, He is infinite. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, says the Taittiriya Upanishad. Brahman is Satyam, always present, truth, eternal truth. Jnanam, consciousness. Anantam, infinite, in every way infinite. So Ananta Virya, of unlimited prowess. Ananta Vikrama, of unlimited ability. Sarvam Samapnoshi, you accomplish everything. There's nothing that God cannot accomplish. Sarvam Samapnoshi, Tato Sarvaha Asi. Therefore, you are the all. Whatever is there is God. You are the all in all. We appear to be different beings. I'm separate, you are separate. And each of us thinks I'm a separate being. But God is, all of this creation is God Himself. We are He. But we don't have that knowledge of our true nature, being infinite. Our knowledge is, awareness limited to the body and mind. That's the problem. Because of ignorance, Maya, you can explain it as Maya or avidya, ignorance, but that is what we are suffering from. That has to be given up. That's the whole purpose of Vedanta, is to shed this erroneous impression that I'm the body and the mind, limited being, and to assume, experience our infinite true divine nature. We are that. So that is the whole purpose of spiritual practice. So you are infinite, of infinite power and infinite ability. All Krishna chanting the glories of Krishna, Arjuna chanting glories of Krishna. Then you go to verse number 41, 42. Usually they are studied together. Here, Sri Krishna, Arjuna seeks forgiveness from Sri Krishna for treating him as a friend. He did not know Krishna was Bhagavan until the Vishwarupa was, cosmic power was revealed to him. He was treating him as a familiar friend. Now he seeks forgiveness for that one. Arjuna seeks forgiveness. In 41, 42. Sakheti matva prasabam yaduktam he Krishna he Yadava he sakheti ajanata mahimanam tavedam maya prasapamadat pranayena vapi yachavaha sartamasat kritosi viharashayyasanamojaneshu ekothavavyachyuta tatsamaksham tatkshamayetva prameyam. Sakha means friend. Sakha iti. Thinking of you as a friend, addressing as a friend. Oh, hey Krishna, like that. Matva iti matva. Thinking that you are a friend. Prasabam yaduktam. By mistake, whatever I did, addressed you in a familiar way. Hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Sakha iti. Arjuna used to treat Krishna as a friend. They were mutually friends. Krishna and Arjuna were very close friends. Pandavas were friends of Krishna. But among them, Arjuna and Krishna used to always spend time together as close friends. Hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Sakha iti prasabam yaduktam. Calling you as hey Krishna, hey Yadava like that by mistake in a familiar way, not knowing your true nature. Ajanata tava idam mahatmam, mahimanam, not knowing your infinite glory. Mahima means glory. Ajanata means not knowing. Tava, your mahimanam, idam mahimanam, this infinite glory of yours. Maya pramadat, pramada means mistake. By mistake, pranayena, because of affection also. Very affectionate towards each other. Pranayena vapi yaduktam, whatever I said, because of affection or familiarity, out of love, thinking of you as a friend, calling you hey Krishna, hey Yadava, like that one, not knowing your true infinite nature. Tava mahimanam ajanata, not knowing your infinite nature. Yachavahasartam asatkritosi. Avahasartam means because of fun. Treated unceremoniously in privacy or in public, while resting, sitting, dining, or playing games. I beg you, the immeasurable, to forgive all this. Asatkritosi. Satkara means treating somebody properly. When a guest comes to our house, we have to do satkara. Treat them with respect and love. It's called Atiti Satkara. Atiti means guest. Atiti Satkara means treating the guest as if God himself has come. That's how we should treat guests. Not only guests, everybody in general. Asatkritosi, I did not treat you properly. Vihara Shayyasana Bhojaneshu. In relaxation, Vihar, they used to relax together, play together. Asana, Shayya means sleeping. Asana means sitting. Bhojana means eating. In all these activities, they are doing them together in a friendly manner. Arjuna used to treat Krishna as a friend. Ekothavaapyachyuta tat kshamatvam. I beg you, the immeasurable, to forgive all this. Tat samaksham, in your presence. I used to treat you in that way. Tat kshamaye tvam aham aprameyam. I deserve to be, I like to be forgiven for all this familiar treatment, transgressions I made, not knowing your true nature. Arjuna is seeking forgiveness. Taking you for a comrade, as a friend, I have addressed you as Krishna, cowherd Yadava friend Sakha, unaware of this majesty of yours, and out of affection, pranayena, or thoughtlessness, pramadat, I have treated you unceremoniously, in privacy or in public, while resting, sitting, dining, and playing games. Vihara Shayyasana Bhojaneshu. I beg you, the immeasurable, to forgive all this. Tvam aham aprameyam tat kshamaye. I seek forgiveness. Now we go to the next sloka, 43. Then Arjuna continues the description of Bhagavan's glory. Pitasya lokasya characharasya tamasya pudyascha gurur gariyan natvat samobhyastyadibah abhyadikah kutosi natvat samobhyastyadikah kutosi kutonyu lokatraye pya pratima prabhava lokatrayepi apratima prabhava lokatrayepya pratima prabhava Lokasya pitasi. You are the father of the world, whole world. Creator, father of the whole world. Of beings. Characharasya lokasya pita asi. Charachara means world. This world contains moving and unmoving beings. Moving things are people, animals, we move about. But many beings are unmoving, like mountains and trees. They don't, fortunately, they don't move. Otherwise, it will be a big problem. If trees also could move, it will be a great confusion. If buildings could move, it will be big problem. So that is not happening. So beings, which are some of which are moving, some of which are not moving. Of this world containing moving, unmoving things, you are the father. Lokasya pita asi. Tamasya lokasya pita asi. Pujyascha Guru Garayan. Puja means worthy of worship. Puja means worship. Puja means worthy of worship. Puja, pujaniya. Guru Garayan. You are the teacher. Gariyan teacher. Greatest teacher of all. Nat tvatsamosti. Nat tvatsama asti abhyadikaha. You have to break down the words. Na means no. Tvatsama. Equal to you. Asti, that there is nothing, nasna asti. Abhyadikaha, greater than you, nobody is there, nothing is there. There is nothing greater than you in the whole of creation. You are the greatest of all. Kuta anyaha, where else, what else is there other than you, the greatest of all? Lokatrayepi apratima prabhava. Lokatraya means in the three worlds. In all the worlds, apratima prabhava. Apratima prabhava means of unlimited power, might, of unlimited might. Description of glories of the Lord by Arjuna. 44. Tasmat pranamya pranidaya kayam prasadaye tva mahamesha medyam piteva putrasya sakheva sakhyuhu priyah priyayarhasi deva sodham. Again, seeking forgiveness. We still have so many verses. Tasmat, therefore, pranamya, prostrating before you. Pranamya means doing prostration. Pranamya, kayam pranidhaya, prostrating my whole body. Kaya means body. Sashtanga pranama, 8 parts of the body touching the floor, full prostration. That is the proper way to do pranama to highest beings. Pranidaya kayam, going down my whole body. Kayam means body. Prasadaye, I crave your grace. Prasada means grace of God. Prasada also means the food offered to God in worship, but here prasada means grace of God. That came in the second chapter. Prasadaye, I crave your grace. Tvam aham isham edyam. Aham prasadaye, I seek your grace. You are Isham, the Lord of all. Idyam, stutyam, that means you are worthy of praise. Idyam is worthy of praise. God is worthy of praise. Piteva putrasya sakheva sakyuhu. How you should forgive me? Like a father forgives his son. If a son makes a mistake, father lovingly forgives the mistake, or forgives the son for the mistake. Just like a father forgiving his son, piteva putrasya, and a friend forgives another friend when some friend makes a mistake. Sakheva sakyuhu. Sakha means friend. If a friend makes a mistake, a good friend forgives him. If son makes a mistake, father forgives him. In the same way, since I have made so many mistakes, calling you Hey Krishna Yadava, treating you in a familiar way, please forgive all my mistakes. Priya Priyayarhasi Deva Sodam. A lover with the beloved. Priya Priyaya. Priya means a lover. Priyaya, one who is beloved. A beloved, a lover forgives the beloved for mistake. Father forgives the son, friend forgives the friend, and a beloved lover forgives the beloved. Deva sodam arhasi. Sodam means to bear, to bear whatever mistakes were done by others. Sodam arhasi. You should forbear all the mistakes I have made. We'll do one more verse, 45, and then we'll stop. Adrishtapurvam hrishitosmi drishtva bhayena cha pravyatitam mano me tadeva me darshaya videva rupam prasida devesha jagannivasa. Adrishtapurvam hrishitosmi. I am thrilled with joy, hrishitosmi, by seeing something that had not been seen before. Purva means before, Adrishta means not seen. The cosmic form was not seen before. Saying that cosmic form which was not seen before, I am really thrilled. Rishitosmi. Bhayena cha pravyatitam mano me. Me manaha means my mind. Bhayena pravyatitam, out of fear it is being agitated. My mind is agitated because of fear. Fear at looking at this cosmic form, frightening cosmic form. Tadeva, now he asks Krishna to go back and show his familiar form, not this cosmic form he cannot stand anymore. Though Arjuna was given special eyes to see the cosmic form, still it is not bearable. So huge and frightening and tremendous the cosmic form. So he says to Krishna, please show me the familiar form that you always have shown. Tadeva me darshayaru devarupam. Me tadeva rupam darshaya. Show your same old form. Prasida devesha jagannivasa. Devesha means the Lord of Lords. Jagannivasa, the whole abode of the universe. Prasida, be gracious unto me. So Arjuna asked Sri Krishna to withdraw the cosmic form, frightening cosmic form, and then show to Arjuna Krishna's familiar form with which he was familiar. So that was the Arjuna's request for Sri Krishna. We will continue next time. Probably we'll be able to finish 11th chapter next time. The last verse in 11th chapter is the key verse, the summary of the whole thing. Verse number 33, and then where Sri Krishna says, you be the instrument, and the last verse. Those are two key verses in the 11th chapter. We'll study them next time. Until then, you stay well, and if you have any questions or comments, we have a few minutes.
Namaste, Swamiji. This is Siva. There was a dispute with some of our satsangis, and they said you have to be of pure mind in order to attain God. But doesn't have to be pure in the world. That doesn't make any sense to me. If you want to be having harmonious relationship in this Maya world, there has to be both purity of the mind and then exhibit that with the mala of authentic words in everyday life. Could you elaborate on that, please? Thank you.
If the mind is pure, you can have sweetest relationship with everybody in the world. With everyone, including wicked people, you can have the sweetest relationship if the mind is pure. If the mind is impure, if I am angry, then I see somebody bad, I become angry. So that won't be there. So purity of mind is necessary both for peaceful living in this world and for God realization. even to have a successful relationship with the co-workers, with the family members, with other people. Some may be good, some may be bad. We should have purity of mind. If you are given to anger, jealousy, and becoming impatient, asahishnata, then we can't have good relationship in the world also. Not only is a pure mind necessary for God realization, purity of mind is necessary for successful relationship, harmonious, loving relationship with everybody in the world also.
Well, so what about, Swamiji, those people who have a mala of flattery? And so you were saying, oh, what a nice person he or she is. And does that mean they have purity of mind because they can be putting up a facade? How does one differentiate?
Differentiation is easy, but after differentiating, some are treating us nicely, some are not. Then what do we do with the people? With those who treat us nicely, we have no problem with them. But those who don't treat us nicely, what do we do with them? That is the question. There, we have to do several things. First of all, if somebody is giving you trouble again and again, you have to tell the person nicely, calmly, without anger. Hey, you are doing this, is creating a lot of trouble. Please stop doing this. But the person does not stop, continues to give you trouble, then you have to take recourse to whatever recourse is available. In a work situation, we have to take the matter to the supervisor on this problem is creating, is affecting my work. So please do something. If everything, if you do, that you can do, if you do, if still the problem does not go away, then you have to practice forbearance. Final step. Forbearance means titiksha. Whatever cannot be cured has to be endured because there is a reason for that. The reason why that person is giving me this kind of treatment, there is a reason for that one. People come to our lives in different capacities, treat us differently. Our parents, to begin with, first people who come to our life are the parents. Most parents are very nice to their children. And then our siblings will come. Then our school friends will come, other friends will come, then family, children, grandchildren, spouse, everything will come. They all have a part to play in our lives. What part each of them plays, how they treat, each of them treats us, is largely dependent on our own karma. If I have done very good karma, everybody in my life will be nice to me. Dhritarashtra, not Dhritarashtra, Dharmaraja was like that. Dharmaraja had no enemies at all. It was called Ajata Shatru. No Shatru was born to him. Everybody had respect for him. But we are not like that. Some people don't treat us nicely. Then we have to take recourse to whatever we have, recourse we have. If nothing works, then we should say he's just the delivery instrument, giving my bad karma to me. It has to come through something or somebody, my bad karma. So he's playing that role. So I don't hate him. Adveshtasvara Bhotanam. In the 12th chapter, Shloka 13, we study. Even those who hate us, we should not hate them. No hatred towards any being. But you have to stay away from them as much as possible. You don't have to be close to them. Stay away. Minimum transaction needed. Only we have to. So many people gave trouble to Sri Ramakrishna also. They thought of him as a madman, did not show him respect, but he disregarded him. What does it matter? Like that. Titiksha, forbearance.
But you know that some people are just using flattery and they really don't really mean it. They don't have the pure mind. So how do you deal with such people when they come in your life? Is that part of your karma? And so what do you do? Just
part of our karma. Why they are treating us like that? There is a reason for that one. The other instruction is those people who praise you, they are not doing any good to you. Those who blame you, they are doing great favor to us by helping us to work out our karma. It seems Kabir Das, it seems, gave this doha. Those who criticize you, keep them close to you in your front yard. Don't shun them away. Why we should keep them close to us, those who criticize us? Because Bina sabuna pani bina nirmala kare. Without soap and water, they're cleaning up your ego, working out your bad karma for you. So that is another instruction. So practice forgiveness, forbearance and forgiveness. No hatred for anybody. And the other instruction is in the chapter 5, verse 18 and chapter 6, verse 9. They treat everybody alike, seeing the presence of God in all of them. God is present in the wicked man also. Only he or she does not know that one. So chapter 5, verse 18, there he says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shunichaiva Shapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha, including all the animals, including dog. Brahmana means the highest person of highest caliber with knowledge of God. One end of the extreme. Other end of the extreme is the worst human being, no education, no culture, somehow existing, eating dog's meat, sapaka. In between, all the other beings are there. Moderate people, good people, bad people, all come there. Animals also come there. Sunichaiva sapakechan. Gavi hastini. Go means a cow. Hasti means elephant, and dog. They all come. All of them are God himself playing that role, assuming that role. So if you're seeing the presence of God in all of them, what should a Pandita do? Samadarshinaha, Pandita. If you are a Pandita, if you're knowledge, person of knowledge, we should treat all of them alike with no hatred towards anybody. Adveshtasura Bhotanam, chapter 12, verse 13. So we have to do all these things. It's not easy. It is difficult when you have to deal with the same person day in and day out in the family or workplace. You can't get away from that person. But that's our weight of our karma. Let one put garlands on, another kick his frame, say not. Praise or praise or blame or blamed are one. Just be thou calm, sannyasin bold, say om, that's a one. Praiser means people who praise us. Blamer, people who blame us. Praised, the one who is praised. Blamed, the one who is blamed. They're all one. Only Brahman, playing all the different parts. If we have that larger view, then it will be easy to bear this part being played. I'm not the person I am thinking I am. I'm playing a role in this cosmic drama. I'm not the character. I'm not the role I'm playing. I'm the true actor, person, independent person. But on the stage, I'm appearing, playing the part of a thief or a robber or a saint. That's only on the stage. The world is a stage of drama, cosmic drama, God's drama. We are all characters in it. But that's not your true nature. After you finish our role, say what you have to say and leave the stage and go back, then we are true people. Our true nature is divine. I am that Sachidananda Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. But why am I doing stuff here? Is with cosmic drama. Why this cosmic drama I'm participating? Because of karma. If you have self-knowledge, there is no drama, there is no play, there is no actor, nothing. Total peace. So self-knowledge or pure devotion, that's the ultimate solution to all these things, to all problems, not only wicked people. Until we get that one, we'll have to forbear and struggle a little. What else can be done? Preventive measure, remedial measure, forbearance. Three things.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Okay, shall we say the closing prayer?
Sure.
Om Sarve Bhavanta Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may all be happy. Sarve Sukhinah Bhavantu. Sarve Santu Niramayaha. May all people be free from diseases and other problems. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyanti. Bhadra means auspicious. May everybody experience auspiciousness, do auspicious deeds, think auspicious thoughts. Bhadra means auspicious. In some Indian languages, in Tamil, for example, Telugu also, if somebody is going somewhere, then the other people will say Bhadram, Bhadranga, Bhadrama, like that one. That means be safe and behave in an auspicious manner. May good happen to you. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhave. May no one be subject to any kind of suffering or misery. Hari Om Tat Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace within us all, Adhyatmika Shanti. Peace and harmony amongst all, Adi Bhavatika Shanti. Peace in nature, Adidayvika Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. All of you stay well. God willing, we shall see you next week. Enjoy Swamiji's visit. He's visiting you and spending time with you. That's very nice. Happy. Very good.
We spent some time yesterday and today.
Very nice.
From here.
Very nice.